Good evening. I hereby announce that pursuant to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in the notice which was sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and posted on the bulletin board in Township Hall, and filed in the Township Clerk's office on January 3rd, 2023. Mayor Lucarelli?
Here.
Mr. Impreviduto?
Here.
Mr. Bontempo?
Here.
Mr. Foster?
Here.
Ms. LaMountain?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Wendy. Can everyone please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance? If everyone can please stand, stay standing for a moment. Normally, after we do the pledge, we have a moment of silence. Tonight, I'd like to just expand on that a little bit out of respect for September 11th, which was yesterday. And I would like to start tonight's meeting by recognizing that yesterday was the 22nd anniversary of the September 11th attacks on our nation. This week, as we should do every week, we pause to think about to be grateful for all of those police officers, firefighters, EMTs, military members, and other first responders who put their lives on the line to ensure that we all remain safe, healthy, and free. In particular, I'd like to remember the citizens of Holmdel who perished on September 11, 2001. Christopher Allingham, Paul Bavaro, Ian Barron, Michael Laforte, Dennis Fu, Robert Jorho Jr., Matthew Paserno, Gregory Preziosi, Greg Reedy, Eric Solenham. Thank you, everyone. You can be seated. All right, thank you everyone for coming this evening. We have two exciting proclamations this evening. The first one is going to be for the Holmdel Football Club, the Boys Lions team. Where's everyone? Hey, guys. All right. This year, the Holmdel Football Club's 2015 Boys Lion team finished their regular season with an undefeated record of 10-0-0 in the Monmouth Ocean Soccer Association Premier League. And whereas the team earned their way to the Monmouth Ocean Soccer Association Cup Finals, during the finals, the team set a record with 11 penalty kicks. Whereas the team ultimately won the Premier League championship, and the players were trained, encouraged, and taught to show respect for the game and the other players by coaches Nick Barron, John Poli, and Danielle Poveromo. Sorry, thank you. I'm Italian, I should know that. Now, be resolved by the mayor and the township committee of the Township of Holmdel that congratulations be extended to the following: Patrick Connolly, William Connolly, Grayson Pagano, Keaton Foster, Jackson Herbeck, Jordan Herbeck, Zach Lepresti, Vincent Poli, Mikey Pavarino, Tyler Satawa, and Sean Towery, both personally and officially on behalf of the residents of the community by their outstanding achievements. Be it further resolved that suitable and gross copy of this resolution be presented to the team as a small token of the esteem in which they hold. Be it further resolved that all best wishes be extended to all for their continued success in all their future endeavors. Proclaimed this 12th day of September 2023. Congratulations. I would like to have the boys up with their coaches for some photos. All righty, thank you very much. So we have one more group here, and our deputy mayor is going to read this proclamation out this evening. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just reviewing the names real quick to see if I could say them. Give me one second. Whereas the year 2022-2023 5th and 6th grade girls lacrosse team finished their regular season with a remarkable win in the Coastal Lacrosse League CCL Championship. And whereas after ending the regular season in an undefeated record for the first time in their history, Holmdel defeated the Rumson Fairhaven squad at Nut Swamp Fields in Middletown. And whereas over the course of the season, the team's offense worked hard to achieve high scores at every game, while the defense also succeeded at keeping opposing teams from scoring too many goals. And whereas Holmdel ultimately won the 2023 CLL Championship with a 9-7 victory against Rumson Fairhaven, Holmdel's first championship win in their 11 years in the league. And whereas the players were led, supported, and encouraged in their endeavors and successes by coaches Christy Sargent, Jody Parati, and Marina Ackerson. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and Township Committee of the Township of Holmdel that congratulations be extended to the following: Courtney Condron, Kate Powers, Madison Parati, Avery Bogan, Tegan Buchan, Cecilia Merrifield, Emily Minnick, Ida Ackerson, Madeline Marinaccio, Josephine Betts, Caitlin Lavin, Elle Foster, Anne-Marie Rabimbus, Lila Lynn, Josephine Serini, Marcella Pozzuto, Leah Sargent, Riley Zamet, Blake Grimando, Juliana Berardi, Karis Subotic, Mackenzie Davis, Natalie Kleinfelter, Nicole Kleinfelter, and Carolyn Janji, personally and officially on behalf of the residents of their community for their outstanding achievements. Be it further resolved that a suitably engrossed copy of this resolution be presented to the team as a small token of the esteem in which they are held, and be it further resolved that all best wishes be extended to all for continued success in all of their future endeavors. Congratulations, everybody.
Would the coaches and the young ladies please come on up for a photo?
Here.
You got me? We doing number one?
Yeah. All righty. Wendy, approval of minutes?
Yes, next is the approval of the August 8th executive and public sessions and the August 22nd public session that was forwarded to the Township Committee for review.
Was everyone present, Wendy, on those? No.
Any affected committee member could just say voting yes, except those meetings at which you weren't present, abstaining. And
Thank you,
we'll take
Michael.
care of that.
Do I have a motion to
Motion.
approve? Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Bontempo?
Yes, I'll abstain from the 22nd, Wendy.
Thank you. Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Impreviduto?
Yes.
Ms. Lamountain?
Yes.
Mayor Lucarelli?
Yes.
Thank you. The minutes have been successfully passed.
Thank you, Wendy. Okay, now I'm just going to have a quick statement before we open up public comments on agenda items only. Just wanted to just do a quick statement. I know there was a revised agenda. As you're aware, the Township Committee authorized good faith negotiations to acquire the Crawford Hilltop property for open space purposes. These negotiations are required by law. If they fall through, the Township has authorized the use of eminent domain to acquire the Hilltop property. This past week, the Planning Board recommended that the property housing the former Nokia building be declared an area in need of redevelopment for condemnation purposes. The Township Committee agenda issued this past Friday contained Resolution 2023-255, concurring with the Planning Board's redevelopment investigation recommendation. Since that time, the Township received and evaluated a letter from the property's owner's attorneys regarding good faith negotiations for the acquisition of the Crawford Hilltop property. To allow good faith negotiations to proceed without concurrent action by this governing body, including the developer, I directed that Resolution 2023-255 be removed from tonight's agenda. This does not prejudice the Township Committee's ability to take this action at a future meeting at its discretion. The Township reserved all rights regarding Crawford Hill. As mayor, we continue to act in the best interests of the residents of Holmdel regarding the Crawford Hill property. Thank you. So with that, I will open up public comments on agenda items only. If you wish to be heard, please raise your hand. Come forward. Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Emma.
Good evening. Ron Emma, 32 Ladwood Drive. Just a quick question on one of the agenda items about the purchase of 4 new police vehicles. I had asked this question probably a year ago about what the bar was, if there was a bar set, to when and how a decision is made to purchase either a police car or DPW. Is it mileage? Is it a year? It's $260,000 for 4 new police cars. I'm not disputing the need for those police cars, just the criteria that is used to determine when and if new vehicles are purchased. Thank you.
No problem. That's a fine question to ask, legitimate question. I don't know the exact criteria, but I know a lot of it is related on mileage and the age of those vehicles. Jay, do you have anything to add to that, or maybe we can get back to Mr. Emma with a better explanation?
Certainly, Mayor. In general, the criteria varies from department to department. Obviously, vehicles that are in the category of first respond emergency use are viewed a little bit differently. And again, particularly when you look at vehicles in public works, for instance, it has less to do with the number of miles as it does to do with the age. Typically, in the police service, the miles rack up, particularly for patrol vehicles. So it does vary from department to department as well as vehicle type. But in general, it's a combination of vehicle age, mileage, wear and tear, and recent experience with service and maintenance costs.
Thank you very much. And do you know, was this from a prior, was this from last year, I'm guessing, these vehicles?
These are actually vehicles that are being purchased through this year's budget. These are 4 police vehicles.
Okay.
And I know we also had issues with lead times too. It's taking longer than anticipated for some of the off-the-state contract, correct?
That is true. I believe it is my understanding generally that the delivery has eased up somewhat compared to what it had been, but these are vehicles that will be committed for purchase now. I know that we have just recently received, within the past 2 months, vehicles that were purchased last year.
Yeah.
So it's almost a year out still, yeah.
Although we do expect, particularly in patrol vehicles, that we're purchasing them at the right time of year in terms of having adequate supply. So
Thank you.
I do not anticipate that we'll be waiting a year for these.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else have any questions or things they'd like to speak about on consent agenda items? Seeing none, I would like to ask for a motion to approve resolutions 2023-228 to 2023-240, and then we have 2023-242 to 2023-254.
Motion.
Second.
Wendy?
Mr. Bontempo?
Yes.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Impreviduto?
Yes.
Ms. Lamountain?
Yes.
Mayor Lucarelli?
Yes.
Okay. The resolutions have been successfully passed. Thank you.
Thank you. So, number 10 on here is no longer, correct? Okay, so we're at 11, introduction of ordinances. Wendy?
It's introduction of ordinance 2023-12, which is an ordinance revising section 2-83 titled Payment of Claims. The motion to is adopt on first reading, publish in the Asbury Park Press, and set the public hearing for September 26, 2023.
Thank you, Wendy. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second? Anyone have a
Second.
Wendy?
Mr. Bontempo?
Yes.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Impreviduto?
Yes.
Ms. Lamountain?
Yes.
Mayor Lucarelli?
Yes.
Okay, 2023-12 will be set for public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. Now, we now have item number 12, hearings on ordinances.
Yes, sir. We have hearing on 2023-09, which is an ordinance authorizing the guarantee by the Township of Holmdel, New Jersey, or payment of principal and interest on the capital equipment lease revenue bonds, Series 2023, Holmdel Board of Education project of the Monmouth County Improvement Authority.
So this is a public hearing. Do I have anyone in the public that has any questions or comments on this ordinance? Seeing none, I would is there any discussion on the committee? Seeing none, can I have a motion to, on this?
Move.
Second.
Wendy?
Mr. Bontempo?
Yes.
Mr. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Impreviduto?
Yes.
Ms. Lamountain?
Yes.
Mayor Lucarelli?
Yes.
Okay, 2023-09, the ordinance will be published in the Asbury Park Press according to law. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wendy. That'll conclude that part of our meeting, and we would like to go to the departments. Mr. Delaney, our administrator, do you have anything for the committee this evening?
Mayor, just you'll note it. I should note the absence of CFO Bill Antonides. Mr. Antonides has asked me to provide the following information, which is a requirement based on notes that have been issued or will be issued by the township. The internally held bond anticipation note for the General Capital Fund held by the Affordable Housing Trust Fund has been renewed for a period of 1 year in the amount of $2.8 million at an interest rate of 2.79%. There was a budgeted pay down of $700,000 this year. The internally held bond anticipation note for the Sewer Utility Capital Fund held by the Affordable Housing Trust Fund was also renewed for a period of 1 year in the amount of $1.35 million at an equal interest rate of 2.79%. There was a budgeted pay down of $150,000 this year. The internally held bond anticipation note for the SWIM Utility Capital Fund, held by the current fund, was renewed for a period of 1 year in the amount of $378,000 at an interest rate of 2.79%. There was a budgeted pay down of $42,000 this year. Additionally, the township will be receiving bids on September 14th for bond anticipation notes in the amount of $4 million. These funds are for the balance of projects authorized by Ordinance 2022-07 in the amount of $1.9 million and for a portion of the projects authorized by the recently adopted ordinance number 2023-07 in the amount of $2.1 million. The proceeds are for the projects that are anticipated to be completed within the next 12 months. It is anticipated that the interest rate will be somewhat below 4%. We'll know the precise amount when the bidding for those notes is received. It is also anticipated that any debt issued as authorized by Ordinance 2023-11 will be issued to the General Capital Fund with cash on hand in the current fund. This report is in keeping with the previously discussed and announced use of internally held funds that are held in trust, and the township is essentially self-financing those by borrowing the money from one of our existing trust funds.
Thank you very much. And there was nothing else with your hat, was there?
Not at this time. Mayor.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, and thank you, Bill, if you're watching. I hope you feel better. Attorney reports. Mr. Collins, do you have anything for us?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any report, but happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Mr. Euro, nice to have you with us. Yeah. So I don't know if you have any updates for the committee?
No updates at this time. Available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Euro. We'll go to boards and committees. We will start right down to my left with Mr. Bontempo.
First update is on the Holmdel Library, located over in the Bellworks building. During the month of August, we had over 7,300 people visit the library. 4,200 items were checked out by patrons. 974 in attendance reference questions worked on with visitors. Over 500 new items were added to the library's collection during the month of August, and about 4 dozen new patrons registered for library cards. So the library and Trish is doing a great job over there. She's offering expanded children's programming. It hosted 16 children's programs during the month of August. They had over 400 children participate in programs at the library. A new technology addition. Holmdel Library Foundation paid for a new large board at the children's area. There was one board there already. They asked for a second large board in the actual children's room. If you ever go in the library, they have a back room just where their librarian runs programs for children. So it's where the children can do their drawings and they could save them and print them. It's actually pretty cool. Staffing right now, they have Jessica, Joan, Mutka, and Mary are in the library. She got additional help, which is great. Programming coming up, August displays included in the Holmdel Summer programs list, the Dog Days of Summer, author birthdays, and digital resources. The Holmdel Book Club is now discussing the book The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. And at the end of September, the library will host Hu Jing of the Renaissance Chinese Opera Society for Calligraphy Instruction Program. And additionally, working on bringing a author and speaker to come in to do a book reading in the fourth quarter. And if it works out, it's kind of a local, well-known celebrity who wrote a book who we're working with on to try to get to come into the library. So more information to come on that. Hopefully by the next meeting I can share the date and who, but pretty exciting about potentially bringing this person, which I think will get a lot of interest from all ages of people. On the Veterans Committee, we are holding our Veterans Roundtable meeting this Thursday morning, Bellworks. It's a roundtable discussion that starts at 9:15 in our meeting room over in Bellworks. Pretty exciting. We have a pretty significant list of attendees. We have representative from Congressman Andy Kim's office will be in attendance. We have representatives from the Office of Veterans Affairs presenting at the meeting. We have the new commanding officer from Naval Weapons Station Earl. For those of you that follow our meetings, here last year we presented the outgoing commanding officer, Captain Callahan, with a plaque and certificate. He retired back in April, and now the new commanding officer who took over is going to be coming and introducing himself to all of our veterans. So pretty exciting presentation. It's open to all veterans. Anybody that's not on our list, that's interested in coming on our list, can email vetsinfo, that's VETS info, INFO, at holmdeltownship.com, or call the administrative office department and ask for Tara. She'll add you to the list, fill you in. We have some other events planned as we wrap up this year, and we want to make sure that we are reaching all our veterans out there in the community, because, you know, as we open every meeting with a moment of silence for our veterans, it's these guys who, you know, sacrificed a lot and their lives on the line to protect our freedom. So try and do something to thank them and give them resources that help them get issues and answers resolved. And I think this list of people coming in to Holmdel, our little town, is fairly significant, and I'm very proud of the work that the team has done, which includes Tara up in administration and the administrator, Jay, who have done an amazing job in helping to pull, and Bob Ward and Rec pulling all these resources together to make an event like this happen. Again, the whole purpose is for our veterans. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Committeeman Bontempo, and we have Miss Committeewoman LaMountain, please.
Good evening, folks. For the Community Development Department, we don't have any new updates this evening. As to our Holmdel Green Team, the Green Team is an advisory committee to the Township Committee, whose purpose is to encourage sustainable practices in our local government and community. The Green Team had an opportunity last month to tour the Mazda recycling facility, and you'll find a letter about it in the September Township newsletter, and it highlights for you what the team had learned during that visit. The Green Team is very excited to share information with residents, provide residents with resources, and answer questions. To that end, Holmdel residents are invited to use the links at the bottom of our webpage to learn about sustainable topics, attend our meetings, which are open to interested residents, and to contact the Green Team with any questions, concerns, or suggestions about sustainability practices. You can see the Green Team webpage on the Holmdel Township website and be in touch with them for more information. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And you want to go? We'll go right down the line. Deputy Mayor Improviduto.
Thank you, Mayor. Swim club season finished up on Monday, September 4th, with one of the largest crowds of the season. There were many great compliments about the season. Members enjoyed DJ nights, live music, sports, crafts, inflatables, and much more. A special shout out to our Assistant Director, Allison Gibney. Due to her work with our season staff, we're able to keep the club staffed and open during regular hours, where clubs in other towns had to cut back on hours due to staffing issues. Spaces are still available for the father-daughter campout on Friday, September 22nd at Bayonet Farm. The campout is open to girls in 2nd through 8th grade. The participants will enjoy a barbecue dinner, s'mores, and a continental breakfast. Registration fee is $45 for adults and $30 for children. Registration is also open for the annual Bayonet Farm Trail Race on Sunday, October 22nd. There's a 1-mile kids race through the trails, as well as a 4-mile main race. Registration fee is $40 for the main race and $5 for the kids race. Space is still available in the following fall programs: yoga in the park, youth karate, soccer squirts. Additional information on these programs can be found at the Recreation Department website, holmdelrec.com. Also, please save the date for the Recreation Department's Trick or Treat event at Bayonet Farm. This will take place on Friday, October 27th. More information will be available soon. From the Board of Education, the school district hosted an all-staff on Friday, September 1st and Tuesday, September 5th for training and preparation for the opening of the school year. Students are welcomed back on Wednesday, September 6th. The district has enjoyed an extremely successful start to the year. On behalf of the Board of Education, Dr. Cascone would like to extend thanks and appreciation to Chief Alaco and the Holmdel Police Department for their support, their involvement, and assistance most definitely contributed to a safe and smooth opening. Thank you, Chief. The Holmdel Public School District is thrilled to announce the launch of its comprehensive 5-year strategic plan for the period 2023 to 2028. The plan reflects, easy for me to say, the district's commitment to continuous improvement and provides the best possible education for our students. More details will be shared in the coming weeks. September is National Suicide Prevention Month, and the district is dedicated to supporting the mental health and well-being of our students, staff, and families. Last year, they partnered with the Monmouth County Mental Health Association of Monmouth County to introduce the Lifelines program, an evidence-based suicide prevention initiative. This year, they will expand their training and education efforts to reach our entire school community. One of the district's core goals is to foster positive behavioral student support. To achieve this, we are proud to launch our Live Holmdel Blue Commitment to Character initiative. It is based on the 6 pillars of character from character.org: trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. The initiative will encourage students to embody values that promote responsibility, respect, and kindness. Each month, the district will focus on a specific character theme district-wide. For September, their theme is responsibility, encouraging students to reflect on the impact of their choices on others. I don't have a formal update from the Heritage Committee at this time, but I did have the privilege to attend the Monmouth Community Christian Church, along with Committeewoman LaMountain, Assemblywoman Vicki Flynn, Shrewsbury Mayor Eric Anderson, and Commissioner Ross LaCitra. It was the 40th anniversary of the Monmouth Community Christian Church, and for those that don't know, it was actually born out of a Bible study program at Bell Labs over 40 years ago. It's located on Holland Road in Middletown. It was really an extraordinary event. We're really very fortunate to have been invited and issue a proclamation, and congratulations to them. You know, their efforts, their fellowship and evangelism, you know, continue to thrive these many years later, and so we're always pleased to see that. I also had the privilege of being here at Town Hall on Sunday evening to wish well or send off Donald Accolano, who was doing his annual walk to Ground Zero. Donald's Walk honors first responders and victims of the September 11th attacks. He does it every year. So it was really just an exciting thing to see, and the passion that he conveys in doing that and supporting our first responders is something that, you know, we should all take to heart. And that's all I've got, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, the Deputy Mayor. Committeeman Foster, are you, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. A few updates. Holmdel Police Department, we have some new traffic patterns again for schools this year. Please be on the lookout for that. We're trying to alleviate some of the traffic backups in the mornings. We will continue to monitor the traffic safety, and the school resource officers as well will look out for that. Please reduce your speed around the schools. There's been a bunch of complaints. Obviously, people moving very quickly. Please drive carefully, especially in the school zones during the school hours and the rest of the day, of course, as well. Looking for some volunteers for the domestic violence advocate. Anyone who's interested, please contact Captain Michael Piggott. The Run for the Fallen, this is the 15th annual rendition, will pass through the township on September 24th. The event commemorates every New Jersey service member who has died in the global war on terror. For more information, please check out the Holmdel Township Police Department webpage. And September is National Preparedness Month. This is the annual observance of the goal of which is to raise awareness about the importance of preparing for disasters and emergency that could happen at any time. Visit www.ready.gov for more information on how to prepare. The fire department, actually, they had the wet down, which I was not able to attend. I was away on vacation. But this past Saturday, we actually had the distinct honor of being presented with a piece of steel from the Twin Towers from the 9/11 tragedy that we've mentioned here tonight. It was actually given to us by a group called the Knights of the Inferno, which is a nationwide and actually worldwide motorcycle group composed of first responders, primarily firefighters. The group that presented it to us were out of Union Beach. So just kudos to Chief Hernando, who really, the guys were saying at the meeting that we received this because of how involved our firefighters are with all of the other departments in the area, and how willing they are to help and get out there. So it was really an honor that was bestowed upon us. We're hopefully going to be able to place it in a very respectful manner and display it prominently out in front of our new building. So it's just kind of more things going on with the fire department, more great stuff. So Congratulations, Chief, and the rest of your crew. We had a bunch of our leadership over there. We're very, very nice to see. First aid, calls for service. We're responding to calls daily, approximately 5 on average per day. The community events that they took part with this summer was the Holmdel Police Youth Academy, Superhero Day at the Swim Club, National Night Out, and the inaugural Battle of the Badges, which is the softball tournament benefiting the Special Olympics. And now that the football season is upon us, the crews will actually be at every home game for the high school as well as St. John Vianney High School. So please stop by and say hello. And just a reminder if you see blue lights out on the street, that is actually our volunteers responding. Not just town residents, we also have volunteers outside of town, but they have the blue lights. You'll see them on the car. We just ask that you kind of move over. Obviously, every second counts in an emergency. Just understand that they're on their way to a call. They're not just putting on the lights to drive around town. They are trying to get out and get the rigs pulled and get to an emergency. And then just lastly, the cadet program really continues to thrive. Significant numbers. Chief, I keep calling him captains, the chief. Trishetta doing a phenomenal job with that. Local high schools, not just from Holmdel, but other local towns as well are enrolled in the program. And they just voted for their leaders this year. Eric is going to be the cadet president. Alex is the cadet first lieutenant. And Preeti is our cadet liaison. So nice to see all the kids, not just from our schools, but other local schools as well, get involved with that awesome program that's run. And that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Committeeman. So thank you to all the committee members who were at the this weekend for the donation of the steel girder. Unfortunately, I was not in town, so I couldn't attend, but I'm happy that it's a real honor to get that donation, and we're very proud to have that here in Holmdel. Another thing, yesterday, our recreation department, they did set up flowers, candles, and American flags in front of Town Hall. To any of those who wanted to visit the memorial could. It was all taken care of by our recreation department, so thank you. And unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of updates this evening, so I stole 2 of them from our liaisons here. The first one I'm going to discuss is for the off-season at the swim club, our newly refurbished tennis courts at the swim club are now available for resident use. And I'm proud that we are able to offer this resource to our residents. Residents should park their cars on the far end of the swim club and follow the paved path to the tennis courts. The courts will operate on a first-come, first-served basis, and we ask that everyone limits their use to 90 minutes. The courts will remain open for use, weather permitting, until Memorial Day weekend 2024. Nomination for Veteran of the Year. The Township Committee is now accepting nominations for the 2023 Veteran of the Year Award. This annual award is presented on behalf of the Township Committee to a Holmdel veteran who has remained committed to his or her fellow veterans and who has also served the greater community in some way. The award is presented at our Veterans Day ceremony in November. Candidates for the award are solicited through nominations from the public. If you would like to nominate someone for this award, please complete the nomination form on the Holmdel website. Contact the Recreation Department for more information. There is also some papers of the nomination forms in the back table of the room. And that will conclude our committee's reports. Before we go to public comments, Chief, do you have anything to report this evening?
Mayor, I don't have anything. Mr. Forster took care of everything that we wanted to report this evening, and I appreciate that. Excellent job.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you, Chief. At this time, I would like to open up our public portion of the meetings. Please come forward, Mr. Blumenthal.
Good evening. Ralph Blumenthal, 41 Stony Brook Road. I appreciate and agree with the action you took earlier with regard to Crawford Hill. If good negotiations are going on, and I hope that's what you're referring to, that's really the best for everyone. Reaching an amiable agreement is always better than having to involve lawyers and do things in non-friendly fashion. So I support that. Yet as a consequence of last week's planning board hearing and the like, there are a couple of thoughts I'd like to share with you. we continue to advocate for the preservation.
Excuse me 1 second, I don't think your microphone.
Yeah, I'm just coming down to check. Thank you.
Now, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I will continue, and others continue to advocate for the preservation of all 3 Crawford Hill lots as a public park. Kate's development report on page 2 notes that the 3 lots were developed as one cohesive site. Indeed, it came out last week during the planning board hearing that the air handlers for the air conditioning system for the building of which is on lot 7, the air handlers are on lot 6. If you take lot 6 away from lot 7, there's no AC in the building. A little bit of awkwardness. Moreover, the secondary parking lot for the building is also on lot 6. Again, a confusion that not necessarily the greatest. In terms of the building itself, contrary to some of the statements, I believe it is not blighted, the word that's in the Constitution. I spent several hours on the site and in the building with Rakesh Antala in April. I saw no cracks, no leaks, no peeling paint, nothing of the sort. Moreover, as I've learned from several people who've worked in the building, the internal partitions are not load-bearing. They're movable. Well, not, I mean, there may be a piece of sheetrock that you got to move, but it's not a big deal. And they have been moved in the past. If somebody needed a bigger or a smaller office, they just moved the wall. In other words, it's easy to make configuration changes inside the building. That doesn't mean there aren't things that might need to be fixed. Nobody's guaranteed that everything in the building meets current code standards such as ADA. So there certainly may need to be some renovations. But I think the building can easily and affordably be reused as a science learning center, museum, celebrating not just the Horn, but all the other scientific research that was done in the building, fiber optics, radio transmission, a learning center, a history museum, and the like. To my mind, any other development on Lot 7 would be undesirable. Residents have clearly indicated we don't need more development in Holmdel. Moreover, any development on that lot would obstruct the entrance to the park and would be awkward both for whoever's there as well as for the park. An example of that, to my mind, is Cheesequake Park, where you got to drive through a residential area to get to the park. It's unhappy for everybody, so it's not a good thing. Lastly, so I just have 2 questions for you. Why treat Lot 7 separately? I think it would simplify things to just do the whole thing as a simple eminent domain process. I think it would simplify your negotiations. And alternatively, what supposedly the redevelopment plan, I think has been said here, offers some additional options to you. In looking at the legal issues, I'm not sure what it is, and I'd be interested to know if you could comment what benefits there would be to going that way, as opposed to simply doing eminent domain on the whole thing. Thank you.
Thank you. First, I'm going to just say that we agree and respect the decisions of our board professional, our planning professional on the board, and we agree with her report. And we will be moving on that at some point down the road. We'll see. Secondly, there was a decision that was made by this board to separate the lots because, again, like you understand, we believe that is it 6 is the back lot? I get confused. 6, so lot 6 was appropriate for the open space. It fit the criteria clearly, and we still feel strongly that lot 7 could have a further benefit for the community as through a redevelopment process. And I think our attorney can maybe walk you through generally what the benefits are of a redevelopment process, but not specific to this because we don't want to, this is obviously, you understand, this is ongoing. We're in the middle of negotiations. Again, I think our attorney can maybe explain what the benefits are, generally speaking, on a redevelopment process. And again, we're hoping in the very near future we'll be able to speak more about what our thoughts are, the vision of the committee on how to move forward with this. We're just not there yet, Mr. Blumenthal, but we will be soon, hopefully.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to speak just kind of hypothetically, not specific to that parcel, with respect to redevelopment. If a property is declared in need of redevelopment, the township then has the opportunity through a redevelopment plan and a potential redevelopment agreement with a developer to partner with that third-party entity in order to address that the vision of the township committee for that property. A redevelopment plan obviously could allow for a particular use, but it could also, for instance, be providing for a public park if that was a desire within a redevelopment area. And so if the property is designated and there's a plan to that effect, the committee then has the power under the redevelopment law to take various steps to address that property. It could be partnering with a developer to, it would take down structures, put up structures. It could be leasing the property to a third party, a nonprofit group. If you look at the local redevelopment and housing law, there are a significant amount of powers that a municipality has that it doesn't otherwise have with respect to real property. So I do believe that in any instance, the law does provide the township with a lot of tools at its disposal that address the unique issues that involve a property that's declared in need of redevelopment, which is typically an older structure. In this case, I think the planning board, I'm speaking hypothetically, but the planning board has discussed, environmental issues, things of that nature, and the law does provide broad powers. And like I've mentioned at past meetings, that's the exact vehicle that the Holmdel Township Committee used for the Bell Works redevelopment, which by all accounts has been a success, and it allows the township to partner with another entity in order to bring about its vision through a private-public relationship.
Thank you for your comments, and I'll make a private comment to you about it afterwards.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Trisquita.
Patrick Trisquita, 56 Line Road. Holmdel acquiring Lot 6 and 6.01 with an access easement across Lot 7 will create a beautiful 34.2 acre public park at the highest point in Monmouth County. It will contain a National Historic Horn Antenna landmark. Okay, this better utilizes $2 million of Holmdel's open space funds than spending any additional monies as much as $4 million trying to acquire Lot 7. Lot 7 contains an old, vacant Nokia Bell Labs building, a non-historic white elephant. Okay, Lot 7 isn't Crawford Hill. Lot 7 doesn't contain a National Historic Landmark. Lot 7 isn't the highest point in Monmouth County. Lot 7 isn't open space with trails through woodlands. Acquiring Lot 6 and 6.01 through eminent domain should be Holmdel's primary objective. Thank you.
Thank you. I should have had you sit right here when you said that. Is there anyone else in the audience this evening that has comments? Yes, miss, come right up, please, and just state your name and address, and just speak, clearly into the microphone, please.
My name is Kathy English. I'm from Eatontown. I am the great niece of George Cross. I am the granddaughter of William Leahy Cross. I am the great-great-granddaughter of Henry Cross from Gillian Daly. My great-uncle's house on Longbridge Road is a mess. It's a shame. It's sad. My grandfather and his brothers were born in Colts Neck on Pilgrim Way, which got knocked down. The house was from the 1800s. This house, this is a picture from 2015, which looks pretty good. You go up there today, it's
actually in pretty good shape inside.
it's a beautiful piece of property. I mean, it's just peaceful. I can feel them when I go up there. I've become friends with Peter. I have a picture of my great uncle in 1953 in the house. My mother's wedding pictures were there because my grandparents in 1958 moved to Delaware. My grandfather had a fight with Mrs. Thompson. He wanted the house where the Exxon is. That's the house. They lived there. So my mother grew up in Holmdel. My grandfather built a house for my grandmother in Holmdel, which is still standing, thank God. So I just want to see if there's something better to do with this house and fix it up and
Yeah. Go ahead, finish up and then I'll.
it's beautiful. It's the last house, and it's got a lot of history. The Schmocks, who really originally lived in it, they're buried in the cemetery. Barnes Schmock is buried in that cemetery. So the house went through the Schmocks. Then John Crawford, I guess he died he was young, 58. And then I don't know what my great uncle bought in 1933. And he sold it somewhere probably in the late 60s. And he went to South Jersey, and he was an apple orchard. But the Cross brothers were potato farmers. So Frogtown Frolic started on the Cross property. They were all about family. I know Cross Park, they would be thrilled with Cross Park. So I'm just here to see if something can be fixed with this house. There's bees up there, the land, the guy's farming. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's just yoga should be done up there. I mean, that's how peaceful it is. It's beautiful. So I
No.
have pictures.
Yeah, thank you, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you after
Okay.
the meeting if you have a
Alright.
moment. But thank you. We're blessed to have some of the most beautiful farms that are now parks, and or still farmed in Holmdel, and there's a lot of great history there. And I'll chat with you as soon as I'm done here.
My mother lives in Florida now, but I'm in contact with George's granddaughter, and he passed away. His son passed away a couple years ago, and Henry Cross from Gillian Daly's son, he just passed away too. So, a lot of history, a lot of history.
Yeah.
So, I'm proud. Every time I
You
come
should be.
through,
No,
I
thank you.
just wave as I go by. So.
Yeah, but it won't outgo into deterioration. There are some plans to do something with that through
They
a
were
nonprofit.
family-oriented people, so,
Yeah.
Whether it, with the historic, if for kids and planting, I don't know, yoga, the Cross brothers, the family was all about family. Family. So.
Thank you. Pleasure to meet
Okay.
you, and I will talk with you if
Okay.
you have a few minutes.
All right.
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak this evening? Yes, Mr. Emma?
Ron Emma, 32 Ladwood Ladwood Drive. Just a quick question. You briefly outlined the advantages of the redevelopment plan. Am I correct in saying without the redevelopment plan,
We didn't say anything about a redevelopment plan. He was just speaking about the advantages of
in
redevelopment.
general,
Okay,
there
yeah,
might be
just want to
some
make that clear.
pluses, right? So if that wasn't in place, would eminent domain still be an option, number one? Number two, why wasn't Lot 7 included? You said you were adamant about not including it in the eminent domain. I'm just curious, why wasn't all 3 lots included in that thought process? Somebody mentioned environmental issues. If there are environmental issues, has somebody looked at it? What are those environmental issues? And has it been determined how much it would cost if there was, in fact, remediation needed?
I'll say that the township certainly has been working with the property owner, and certain disclosures, have been made as part of both the potential condemnation processes and processes that were underway prior to that, in which, information has been shared. I don't have any specific answers to your questions on those issues, but I think the mayor did generally do a nice job of outlining the overall considerations of the township committee's approach thus far. To answer your legal question, redevelopment is a public purpose under state law, which allows for the use of the eminent domain power. There obviously are other uses in which eminent domain comes into play, but it would have
But
to
you
be-
don't need that to enforce or to go down the eminent domain.
You need a public purpose in order to condemn a property. So the lot 6.01 condemnation is being done for open space preservation purposes. There are other purposes contained in state law for several different areas, but there needs to be a public purpose.
So lot 7 could still be condemned?
I can't get into any. I think I've given you as much as I can.
Okay. So no elaboration on the potential amount of money needed if there was in fact environmental issues?
As I said, I think I've answered as much as I could at
So-
this moment.
So no.
Anything that you're asking is in the realm of potential litigation.
Okay.
I mean, the planning board just referred potential condemnation redevelopment area back to the township committee. If the township committee were to act on that to its end, that would involve a potential condemnation action where this is all being litigated. So I can't sit here and postulate about potential litigation. I just can't.
Hypothetically, is eminent domain still on the table potentially in regards to lot 7?
Yes, so I mean, under the planning board's referral, which the township committee initially authorized, if the township committee concurs with that, the township committee, after adopting a redevelopment plan, would be vested with the potential, with the power to condemn under the redevelopment law, if that's your question.
I think my question is, you don't need that plan to condemn a property. There are other benefits, which you've outlined, but you don't need that to proceed with eminent domain. The redevelopment plan has nothing to do with declaring eminent domain. Yes, or am I right or wrong?
I think it has a lot to do with it. As I stated earlier, there needs to be a public purpose to complete a condemnation. Redevelopment is one public purpose.
So, back to my original question, would potentially eminent domain be on the table in the future for 7.0, lot 7?
I think the township committee is reviewing all options. Again, no action was taken tonight, and we'll be in touch when we can publicly take an action. But we're not gonna sit here and speculate
I got
about different actions that might be taken, because quite candidly, any action that the governing body here takes could be challenged in court.
Okay, thank you.
I know it's frustrating sometimes not being able to answer these questions, but you have to respect the fact that this is an ongoing, we are in, not only in active negotiations, you have, there's potential litigation after this. You're on the planning board, it's like, we
I'm
have to be
speaking as a
careful here.
citizen, not as a member of the planning
No,
board.
I know you're not, but, these are hearings that may end up coming back to the planning board at some time. So, we need to do this the right way. We need to do this, we need to be sensitive of all these things. And I get the frustration, and I know everyone wants a straight answer, and they, and when you don't give a straight answer, why aren't, this is the reason why, the reason why is that we're decisions are this is fluid, these things are happening right now, so.
We trust, but we'll verify. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And just for the record, Ron, I don't, you made a comment that I was adamant about. I don't think I was adamant
No,
about
thought
that. I
you
just
said
think it was in
you
the
had-
best
you had
interest
your-
of.
You had good reasons to exclude 7. That's
Correct.
you had-
Yes,
you were
that's,
adamant
I
about
like
the
that,
reason.
the way that sounds better. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience this evening that, yes, Mr. Maneri?
Yes, hi.
Andrew Maneri, 59 Bethany Road, Holmdel. I'm just here in support of Kathleen English on the Longbridge Farmhouse. And I've been visiting up there the last year or so, and it's been neglected. There's been some vandalism, which I'm sure the township police know about. But, and I'm thinking, and I hate to see no trespassing signs on that house right now, but maybe those little signs will help, because it's probably younger kids or whoever doing that. They're just breaking in, breaking windows up in the thing, and like upstairs in the attic. And they actually broke the attic door. I've been in there a couple of times on my own, trying to do small repairs, and I have some visions of, you know, cleaning the place up before it's too late, and then the township says, oh, we got this over there, we got that over there. It's gonna cost us 50 grand to take it down. That's what's gonna happen. And it really shouldn't happen. These beautiful old structures are what brought a lot of us into this area 50 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. And that is one magnificent place. You know, with Laura Harding's place, that place. Unfortunately, we lost a beautiful house on Red Hill Road, which shouldn't have really come down, but it did. So that's why I'm here, and I'm full support with her. I'd like to really be on board with what goes on there. They actually just took down a couple of trees over there. I don't know, you know, whose decisions they were, but that's fine. I mean, they may have needed to be come down, but there's a huge limb that I could bring any tree guy or anybody over there and show them how that's more potential for hazard to the house and anybody over there. The crotch of the tree could go anytime. So I saw 3 big trees taken down, and they weren't even near the house. So, well, one of them wasn't anyway. But there's just different things, and it'll be nice to chat with the mayor after with Kathy English. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Is there anyone else this evening that has any comments or questions for the committee? Okay. Seeing none, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Wendy? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Thank you, everyone.